Welcome back to the channel. So, profit factor. It's easily one of the absolute most revealing metrics in trading, right? It tells you exactly how much your winning trades make compared to how much your losing trades cost you. But here's the crazy part, and I see this all the time. So many traders never stop to ask what is actually damaging that number. They're endlessly tweaking their technical indicators, jumping from one Discord to another, basically just assuming their strategy is broken. But what if I told you the issue isn't your strategy at all? What if it's an invisible force quietly tanking your trading account? I'm talking about emotional trading. Today, we're going to break down exactly how you can turn your own psychology into hard, measurable data.
So, let's get real for a second. What is truly draining your account and causing those massive, frustrating red days? Think about your last really brutal session. Was the market just impossible to read, or did you make decisions that you instantly regretted? We love to lie to ourselves and blame the market conditions, but honestly, the data tells a completely different story. The reality is, your comfortable trading habits, the ones you fall back on when the pressure is mounting, are often the exact reason you're losing money. It's time we stop guessing and start actually diagnosing the real problem behind your performance leaks.
And that brings us to what I like to call the 6 deadly sins of trading: fear, greed, revenge, hesitation, overconfidence, and frustration. We've all been there. These are those painful, all too familiar emotional states that completely hijack our brains and literally force us to make terrible decisions. Fear paralyzes you when your stop loss gets hit, tricking you into holding a loser because, hey, I might bounce back, right? Greed pushes you way past your exit target because you just want a little bit more. Overconfidence makes you drastically jack up your position size after a random winning streak. These aren't just passing feelings, they are highly destructive behavioral patterns. If you're attaching your life problems or financial stress to a single trade, man, no strategy in the world is going to save you.
Okay, so the absolute crucial point here is understanding how these emotions interact with your profit factor. Just as a quick refresher, profit factor is basically the math comparing your total gross profit to your total gross loss. A strong number means your winners are heavily outweighing your losers. Pretty simple. But a weak profit factor, that means your losses are too large, your winners are being cut way too small, or you're just taking way too many low-quality setups. And guess what? Emotional trading mathematically destroys this number. It inflates your losers through revenge trading and shrinks your winners through fear. To see if emotions are ruining your profit factor, you have to track them. So let's walk through a 5-step framework to do exactly that.
Step 1 is incredibly simple, but I guarantee you it is wildly underutilized. You need to track your emotion right before entry. Literally, right before you click buy or sell, take a second and record exactly how you feel. Are you calm and focused? Or are you nervous, angry, bored, maybe a little frustrated? And even more importantly, what caused that emotion? Did you just take a heavy loss? Did you miss a massive runner and now the FOMO is kicking in? Are you just trading because you're bored and want some action? Logging your emotional state right at the moment of entry helps you instantly connect your mindset to the quality of your trade. You're basically building a database of your own psychology.
Moving on to step 2, tagging your emotional mistakes. You've got to stop guessing and start seeing exactly which toxic habits are bleeding your account. Think about it. Revenge trading almost always leads directly to oversizing just to make it back. FOMO, that leads to chasing absolutely horrible entries. Moving your stops means you're holding on to losers way too long, just hoping for a miracle bounce. And cutting early out of pure anxiety shrinks your winning trades, completely ruining your risk-to-reward ratio. Now, one single emotional trade might not blow your whole account, but these repeated behavioral mistakes, they quietly and systematically destroy your profit factor over time.
Now for step 3. And honestly, this is where the massive aha moment happens. Once you've tagged your trades, you need to separate them. Put all the trades where you were calm and actually followed your plan into one bucket, then put all the trades where emotion influenced your decision into a second bucket. Now compare the profit factor of both groups. If your calm, rule-based trades show a strong profit factor of, let's say, 2.1, but your emotional trades collapse to a 0.7, boom, you've just discovered your problem. The issue is your execution and your psychology, not your trading strategy. This literally proves that you have a winning edge when you stay out of your own way.
Step 4 takes us a bit deeper into the math. We need to review your average win and average loss. Emotions almost always rear their ugly heads in trade management. Fear makes you panic and smash that sell button way too early, which drastically chops your average win down to nothing. Hope blinds you to the reality of the chart, dragging your average loss into a massive ditch because you just refuse to accept that you were wrong. Greed makes you completely ignore perfectly good profit targets. In revenge trading, Yeah, that essentially guarantees oversized losses because you've completely thrown risk management out the window. These emotional patterns are directly tilting the math against you.
Step 5 is the ultimate reality check. It's time to review your rule adherence. For every single trade, you've got to ask yourself, did I actually follow the trading plan? Did I take a valid setup? Look, a losing trade that followed all your rules is completely normal. That's just the cost of doing business. But here is the really dangerous part. A winning trade where you broke all your rules, that is a psychological leak just waiting to explode. The market essentially just rewarded you for bad behavior. If your rule-breaking trades end up having a worse profit factor over a solid 50 trades sample size, that is a glaring red flag that your lack of discipline is exactly what's holding you back.
Let's talk about how these leaks play out, because they have devastating real-world consequences. The absolute worst is the revenge spiral. You take a $500 loss, get mad, double your size to make it back, lose again, and suddenly, bam, you're down $3,000 in just 90 minutes. It's brutal. Then there's the infamous give-back day. You're up $2,000 by 11 a.m., feeling like an absolute genius. But instead of walking away, you keep clicking. By 3 p.m., you're down $800. You turned a massive green day into a red one simply because you didn't have a hard rule to stop. Add in hesitating on valid setups because you're scared from a previous loss, or just overtrading because the market is boring, your profit factor doesn't stand a chance.
But look, here's the harsh truth that nobody really wants to admit. Trying to track all these emotions, all these tags and setups in a manual spreadsheet is completely exhausting. Studies on trader behavior show that manual journaling compliance drops below 40% after just the first month. Actually, scratch that. It basically falls off a cliff. Think about it. When you lose $1,500 on a horrible Wednesday session, the absolute last thing you want to do that night is sit down and write a detailed essay about exactly how undisciplined you are. I get it. Say you skip it. And because the data is never recorded, you wake up Thursday and repeat the exact same toxic cycle.
And this is exactly why relying on sheer willpower fails. It's why you need a system that does the heavy lifting for you. Enter TradeZella. It is an absolutely amazing tool to automatically track your behavior and permanently plug those profit leaks. Instead of wrestling with clunky manual spreadsheets, TradeZella lets you use custom emotion tagging on every single trade. It automatically calculates your analytics so you can instantly compare the profit factor of your FOMO trades against your calm, rule-based trades. And honestly, the best part? It has Zella AI, this super smart assistant that actively flags your behavioral cascades. Like, it'll literally point out that you lose 68% of the time when taking a trade within 15 minutes of a big loss. It brings your strategy and your psychology together into one crystal clear dashboard.
I gotta say though, my absolute favorite feature has to be Trade Replay. You know how a static, end-of-day chart makes every exit look completely obvious in hindsight? Well, live trading moves fast. The uncertainty and emotions completely cloud your real-time judgment. Trade Replay actually reconstructs your executions tick by tick using real market data. You can just sit back after the session, hit play, and visually watch exactly what the market was doing at the precise moment you panicked and hit sell. It restores that live uncertainty you felt, helping you uncover exactly when fear or greed hijacked your mouse. It is literally the closest thing to having a trading coach standing right over your shoulder, pointing out exactly where your discipline broke down.
So are you ready to stop guessing and finally see exactly what is damaging your profit factor? Stop relying on your personality and willpower alone to fix deep-rooted psychological habits, track the data, measure the impact, and let the numbers actually guide your improvement. You can grab an exclusive 20% off TradeZella by using my link in the description right now. Seriously, click the link, sync your broker today, and start discovering where your edge is truly hiding. I'll leave you with this one question to think about before you sit down for your next session. Are you trading your plan, or are you just trading your emotions? Think about it. See you in the next one.